Sarah Chen's heart raced as the lunar lander shook violently. Warning lights flashed across the control panel, bathing the cramped cockpit in an eerie red glow. She gripped the controls tightly, her knuckles white inside her bulky spacesuit gloves. "Moonbase, this is Artemis 7, Sarah called out, fighting to keep her voice steady. "We're experiencing severe turbulence. Systems are failing. Request immediate assistance." Only static answered her plea. The radio crackled uselessly as the lander continued its uncontrolled descent towards the moon's surface. Sarah's mind raced, recalling her years of training. She had dreamed of this moment since childhood, being one of the first humans to return to the moon in over 5 decades. But not like this. Not in a crippled spacecraft plummeting towards certain doom. The altimeter spun wildly. 1,000 meters. 800. 600. Sarah yanked on the emergency thrusters, praying they would respond. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then a dull roar filled the cabin as the boosters sputtered to life. It wasn't enough. The moon's crater-scarred surface rushed up to meet her. Sarah closed her eyes and braced for impact. The crash was deafening. Metal screamed as the lander slammed into the lunar soil, skidding across the barren landscape. Sarah was thrown against her harness, the breath knocked from her lungs. Her helmet visor cracked, a thin line spiderwebbing across her field of vision. When the lander finally ground to a halt, an eerie silence fell. Sarah hung limply in her seat, dazed but alive. Dust slowly settled around the twisted wreckage of what had once been humanity's proudest achievement in space exploration. Groaning, Sarah fumbled with her harness. Her fingers felt thick and clumsy. Warning messages scrolled across her helmet's heads-up display. Oxygen levels, critically low. Suit integrity, compromised. She needed to get out of the lander and activate her emergency beacon. It was her only hope of rescue. The airlock was jammed. Sarah threw her shoulder against it again and again, grunting with effort. On the 4th try, it finally gave way with a screech of protesting metal. She tumbled out onto the lunar surface, the low gravity causing her to stumble. Gray dust billowed around her boots as she regained her balance. Sarah looked up, marveling despite her dire situation. The earth hung like a blue marble in the pitch-black sky, achingly beautiful and impossibly far away. A warning chime in her helmet snapped her back to reality. Oxygen levels dropping fast. She didn't have much time. Sarah's hand shook as she pulled the emergency beacon from a compartment on her suit. The small device was state-of-the-art, capable of broadcasting her location across the solar system. If anyone was listening, they would find her. She pressed the activation button. A small green light blinked to life, a tiny beacon of hope in the vast lunar wasteland. Now all she could do was wait, and hope her oxygen lasted long enough. Hours crawled by. Sarah's breath came in ragged gasps as she rationed her dwindling air supply. She tried the radio again and again, but only silence answered. As her vision began to dim, Sarah thought of her family back on Earth. Her parents, who had supported her dreams of space exploration from the beginning. Her little brother, who looked up to her as a hero. Would she ever see them again? Just as despair threatened to overwhelm her, something caught Sarah's eye. A pinprick of light in the starry sky, growing larger by the second. At first, she thought she was hallucinating from lack of oxygen. But the light continued to grow, resolving into a distinct shape. It wasn't the rescue ship from Earth. The sleek vessel unlike anything Sarah had ever seen before. Its hull gleamed with an otherworldly iridescence as it gracefully descended towards her position. Sarah's mind reeled. It wasn't possible. Humanity had searched the stars for decades, hoping to find signs of intelligent life. And now, in her darkest hour, they have found her. The alien ship touched down 100 meters away, kicking up a cloud of moon dust. A hatch arised open in its side, spilling out a warm, golden light. And silhouetted in that glow were figures, distinctly non-human figures. As her oxygen finally gave out, Sarah's last conscious thought was one of wonder. She had come to the moon hoping to make history. Instead, history had come to her. The universe, it seemed, was full of surprises. Sarah's eyes fluttered open. For a moment, she was confused. The last thing she remembered was collapsing on the lunar surface, her oxygen depleted. But now she found herself in a strange, dimly lit room. She sat up slowly, her head spinning. The room was unlike anything she had ever seen. The walls seemed to glow with a soft, blue-green light. There was no furniture, just smooth surfaces that curved organically. "Where am I?" Sarah whispered, her voice hoarse. As if in response to her question, a section of the wall shimmered and became transparent. Sarah gasped. Beyond the window lay the stark lunar landscape, but dominating the view was her crashed lander, looking small and broken in the distance. Suddenly, Sarah remembered the alien ship she had seen just before passing out. Her heart began to race. Was she aboard that vessel now? A soft hiss made her turn. A doorway had appeared in the wall behind her. Standing in the opening were two figures that made Sarah's jaw drop. They were clearly not human. Tall and slender, with silvery skin that seemed to shimmer in the low light. Their heads were slightly elongated, with large, dark eyes that regarded Sarah with what seemed like curiosity. Sarah's training kicked in. First contact scenarios had been drilled into her during astronaut preparation, but nothing could have truly prepared her for this moment. She raised her hand slowly in a gesture of peace. "Hello," she said, trying to keep her voice calm. "My name is Sarah Chen. I'm a human from planet Earth." The aliens looked at each other, then back at Sarah. One of them raised a hand, mimicking her gesture. From somewhere in the room, a soft voice spoke in perfect English. "Greetings, Sarah Chen of Earth. We are the Zarthak. We received your distress signal and came to offer assistance." Sarah blinked in surprise. You speak English." The voice, which seemed to be coming from some kind of translator, replied, "We have studied your transmissions for many years. We have learned much about your species." The aliens stepped into the room, moving with a fluid grace that seemed almost unreal. Sarah noticed they wore no spacesuits, despite the harsh lunar environment outside. "How did you save me?" Sarah asked. "My oxygen was almost gone." One of the aliens made a gesture, and a holographic display appeared in the air. It showed Sarah's unconscious form on the lunar surface, being enveloped in some kind of shimmering energy field. "Our stasis technology," the translator voice explained. "It suspended your biological processes until we could bring you aboard and replenish your oxygen levels." Sarah's mind reeled. The technology these beings possessed was far beyond anything humanity had achieved. "Why did you help me?" she asked. "Why reveal yourselves now?" The aliens exchanged another look. "We have been observing humanity for a long time," the translator said. "We've watched your struggles and your triumphs. Your return to the moon interested us greatly. When we detected your distress signal, we saw an opportunity." "An opportunity for what?" Sarah asked. "For contact," the voice replied. "We believe your species is ready to join the greater galactic community. Your crash presented a chance to initiate that process." Sarah felt overwhelmed. In the span of a few hours, she had gone from nearly dying alone on the moon to being the first human to make contact with an advanced alien civilization. "What happens now?" she asked. The aliens made a gesture that Sarah interpreted as an invitation. The doorway behind them widened, revealing a corridor beyond. "Now," the translator voice said, "we would like to show you our ship. And then, if you are willing, we can discuss how to introduce our peoples to each other properly." Sarah stood on shaky legs. Part of her still couldn't believe this was real. But as she looked at the alien beings before her, she felt a surge of excitement. This was why she had become an astronaut. To explore, to discover, to push the boundaries of human knowledge. With a deep breath, Sarah stepped forward. "Lead the way," she said. And with that, Sarah Chen took humanity's first steps into a much larger universe. Sarah followed the Zarthak aliens through the curved corridors of their ship. Her eyes darted everywhere, trying to take in every detail. The walls seemed alive, pulsing with soft light and changing colors as they walked. "This is amazing," Sarah breathed. She reached out to touch a wall, surprised to feel it was warm and slightly soft, like living tissue. The translator voice spoke again. "Our vessels are partially organic. They grow and adapt to our needs." Sarah's mind spun with questions. She was about to ask one when they entered a large domed room. She gasped in awe. The room was a perfect replica of the lunar surface outside, down to the smallest crater. But floating above this miniature moonscape were holograms, detailed images of Earth, the solar system, and beyond. "This is our observation chamber," the voice explained. "From here, we study your world and others." Sarah walked to a hologram of Earth, marveling at its beauty. "You've been watching us for a long time, haven't you?" The aliens nodded. One of them waved a hand, and the holograms shifted. Now Sarah saw images of human history, ancient civilizations, great wars, scientific discoveries, and space missions. "We have observed your species' entire journey," the translator said. "Your triumphs and your struggles. Your capacity for both great good and terrible destruction." Sarah felt a mix of pride and shame as she watched humanity's story unfold before her. "And you think we're ready to join your galactic community?" The aliens looked at each other, then back at Sarah. "We believe you have potential, but there are challenges you must overcome." The holograms changed again, showing images of pollution, war, and poverty. Sarah's heart sank. "We still have a lot of problems," she admitted. "Yes," the voice agreed. "But you also have great capacity for problem solving and adaptation. That is why we chose to make contact now." Sarah turned to face the aliens directly. "What exactly do you want from us?" The Zarthak made a gesture that Sarah interpreted as reassurance. "We do not seek to conquer or control. We offer knowledge, guidance, and cooperation. But the choice to accept must be yours." Sarah thought about the implications. The scientific and technological advancements alone could revolutionize life on Earth. But she also knew how some humans might react to the existence of aliens, with fear and hostility. "If I agree to help introduce our species," Sarah said slowly, "how would we proceed?" The aliens led her to another part of the room. Here, Sarah saw a familiar sight, her crashed lander on the lunar surface. "First," the translator said, "we must ensure your safe return. Your people must not suspect our involvement yet." Sarah nodded, understanding the need for caution. "And then, we will provide you with a small device," the voice continued. "It will allow you to communicate with us securely. You will be our liaison, helping to prepare your leaders for official first contact." Sarah felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. She would be the bridge between two worlds, shaping the future of human-alien relations. "This is a lot to take in," she said, her voice shaky. The Zarthak made a gesture that seemed sympathetic. "We understand. You need not decide immediately. Rest, recover, and consider our offer." Sarah nodded gratefully. As exciting as this was, she was still exhausted from her near-death experience. As if reading her thoughts, one of the aliens gestured towards a doorway. "We have prepared a resting chamber for you, adapted to human needs." Sarah thanked them and started towards the door. But she paused, turning back to the aliens and the grand display of cosmic wonders behind them. "Whatever I decide," she said, "thank you for saving my life. And for showing me all of this." The Zarthak bowed slightly in acknowledgement. As Sarah left the room, her mind buzzed with possibilities. In just a few hours, her mission had changed from exploring the moon to potentially changing the course of human history. Sleep, she knew, would not come easily tonight. Sarah woke up feeling refreshed. The alien resting chamber had been more comfortable than she expected. For a moment, she wondered if it had all been a dream. But the soft glow of the organic walls quickly reminded her of the extraordinary situation she was in. As she sat up, A panel in the wall slid open. A small platform emerged, carrying what looked like a glass of water and a bowl of colorful cubes. Sustenance adapted for human consumption, the now familiar translator voice explained. Please, eat and regain your strength. Sarah hesitated, then took a sip of the water. It tasted pure and refreshing. The cubes, she discovered, had different flavors, some fruity, others savory. They were actually quite delicious. As she ate, Sarah's mind raced with questions. She had been trained as a scientist, and now she had the chance to learn about an advanced alien civilization. But she was also keenly aware of her responsibility to humanity. The door to her chamber opened, revealing one of the Zarthak. It beckoned to her with a graceful motion. If you are ready, the translator said, we have much to discuss. Sarah nodded and followed the alien. This time, they entered a room that looked like a futuristic laboratory. Strange devices and swirling holograms filled the space. You have questions, the voice stated. We will answer what we can. Sarah took a deep breath. How long have you been observing Earth? The alien made a gesture, and a timeline appeared in the air. It stretched back thousands of years. We first detected signs of primitive civilization on your world long ago, the translator explained. We have watched your species evolve, technologically and culturally. Sarah's eyes widened. Have you ever interfered before? The Zarthak shook its head. We have a policy of non-interference until a species reaches a certain level of development. Your recent return to the moon signaled that you might be ready. Sarah thought about this. But why did you save me? Wasn't that interference? The alien seemed to consider its words carefully. We saw an opportunity. Your accident allowed us to make contact in a controlled manner, without causing widespread panic on your world. Sarah nodded slowly. It made sense, but something still bothered her. What if I decide not to help you make contact with Earth? Would you reveal yourselves anyway? The Zarthak made a gesture that Sarah interpreted as reassurance. The choice is yours, Sarah Chen. We will respect your decision. If you choose not to proceed, we will return you to the moon and depart. Your people will believe you survived the crash on your own. Sarah felt a weight lift from her shoulders. At least she had a choice. But another question nagged at her. You said Earth might be ready to join a galactic community. What does that mean? Are there other alien civilizations out there? In response, the alien activated a large holographic display. Sarah gasped as she saw countless stars and planets, many marked with symbols she didn't recognize. The galaxy is vast and full of life, the translator said. Many species have achieved interstellar travel. Some form alliances, share knowledge, and trade. Others prefer isolation. Sarah stared in awe at the display. Humanity had long wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now she knew the truth. They were just one small part of a cosmic tapestry. If Earth joins this community, Sarah asked, what would change for us? The Zarthak made a sweeping gesture. Access to advanced technology. Solutions to many of your world's problems. Clean energy, medical breakthroughs, environmental restoration. But also new responsibilities. The galaxy can be a dangerous place. United, species are stronger. Sarah's mind reeled with the possibilities. The benefits could be incredible, but she also saw potential dangers. How would Earth's governments react? Would people fear the aliens? Could this lead to conflict? As if sensing her concerns, the Zarthak placed a hand gently on her shoulder. The touch was surprisingly warm and comforting. We understand your doubts, the translator said softly. This is why we need your help, Sarah Chen. You can bridge our worlds, help your people understand and prepare. Sarah looked up at the alien, then back at the galactic display. She realized she stood at a crossroads of history. Her next decision could shape the future of humanity. I need some time to think, she said finally. The Zarthak nodded understanding. Take the time you need. The future awaits your choice. Sarah spent hours in deep thought, weighing the enormous decision before her. The Zarthak had given her access to a room with a stunning view of the lunar landscape, allowing her to gather her thoughts in peace. As she stared at the Earth hanging in the black sky, Sarah's mind raced through countless scenarios. The potential benefits of joining a galactic community were immense. Cures for diseases, solutions to climate change, an end to energy shortages. All these could transform life on Earth, but she also worried about the risks. Would some nations try to hoard alien technology? Could it lead to new conflicts? Finally, Sarah made her decision. She took a deep breath and called for the Zarthak. Two aliens entered the room moments later. Sarah stood tall, facing them with determination. "I've decided to help," she announced. "I'll be your liaison to Earth, but I have conditions." The Zarthak tilted their heads, a gesture Sarah had learned meant they were listening intently. "First," Sarah said, "we reveal this to the world governments gradually. No sudden announcements that could cause panic. Second, any technology shared must be for the benefit of all humanity, not just one nation. And third, I want your help in presenting this in a way that minimizes fear and conflict." The aliens looked at each other, then back at Sarah. The translator voice spoke. "Your conditions are wise, Sarah Chen. We agree to them. Your care for your species is admirable." Sarah felt a mix of relief and nervous excitement. "So, what's our next step?" The Zarthak gestured, and a holographic display appeared, showing Sarah's crashed lander on the moon's surface. "First, we must return you to your vessel," the voice explained. "We have repaired it sufficiently for your safe return to Earth. This will allow you to report your survival without raising suspicion." Sarah nodded. It made sense to keep the alien encounter secret for now. "Once you're back on Earth," the voice continued, "we will provide you with a secure communication device. It will appear to be a normal piece of equipment, but it will allow you to contact us at any time." One of the aliens stepped forward, holding out a small silvery disc. Sarah took it, marveling at how light it felt. "This is a data storage device," the translator explained. "It contains information about our species, our technology, and the galactic community. Use it to help prepare your leaders for first contact." Sarah clutched the disc tightly. She realized she was holding knowledge that could change the course of human history. "How long do we have before you make your presence known to Earth?" she asked. "We will follow your lead," the voice replied. "You know your people best. We trust your judgment on when they are ready." Sarah felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders, but she also felt a surge of confidence. This was what she had trained for: to explore, to discover, to push the boundaries of human knowledge. "I'm ready," she said firmly. The Zarthak led Sarah through the ship to an airlock. As she put on her repaired spacesuit, the aliens helped her check all systems. "Remember," the translator said, "as far as your people know, you survived the crash on your own. Use the story we prepared to explain your survival. It will be believable given your training and equipment." Sarah nodded, her helmet now in place. One of the Zarthak placed a hand on her shoulder in a gesture of solidarity. "Sarah Chen," the voice said, "you carry the hopes of both our peoples. We have faith in you." The airlock opened, revealing the lunar surface. Sarah's repaired lander stood nearby, looking as if it had never crashed. As she stepped out onto the moon, Sarah turned back to the aliens. "Thank you," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "For everything." The Zarthak bowed slightly. Then, silently, they'd retreated into their ship. Sarah watched in awe as the alien vessel shimmered and vanished, blending perfectly with the starry backdrop. She was alone on the moon once more, but carrying a secret that would soon change everything. With a deep breath, Sarah turned and walked towards her lander. It was time to go home and begin the most important mission of her life: preparing humanity for its cosmic debut. Sarah's heart raced as the lander approached Earth's atmosphere. The blue planet grew larger in her viewport, beautiful and familiar. Yet Sarah knew that everything had changed. She carried a secret that would reshape humanity's understanding of the universe. As the lander streaked through the sky, Sarah rehearsed the story she would tell. A miraculous survival thanks to her training and equipment. Emergency repairs that allowed her to return home. It wasn't a complete lie, but it omitted the most incredible part of her adventure. The lander splashed down in the Pacific Ocean right on target. Within minutes, recovery teams surrounded her. As they helped her out of the capsule, Sarah was bombarded with questions. Astronaut Chen, how did you survive the crash? What happened up there? Sarah took a deep breath. It was touch and go for a while, she said, sticking to her prepared story. But thanks to NASA's excellent training and equipment, I managed to repair the lander enough to get home. The next few days were a whirlwind of debriefings, medical checks, and press conferences. Sarah repeated her story countless times, each retelling feeling like a weight on her conscience. But she knew the truth had to wait. The world wasn't ready yet. A week after her return, Sarah finally found herself alone in her apartment. She locked the doors, drew the curtains, and pulled out the alien communication device. It looked like an ordinary smartphone, but Sarah knew better. With trembling fingers, she activated it. A holographic display sprang to life, showing one of the Zarthak. "Greetings, Sarah Chen," the familiar translator voice said. "Are you prepared to begin?" Sarah nodded. "Yes, but I'm not sure how to start. How do we introduce the idea of alien life to world leaders without causing panic?" The Zarthak made a gesture, and a hologram changed to show a list of names. These are influential scientists and government officials who have shown open-mindedness about the possibility of extraterrestrial life. We suggest starting with them. Sarah studied the list. She recognized several names, renowned astronomers, SETI researchers, even a few high-ranking UN officials. It was a good place to start. Over the next few months, Sarah worked tirelessly. She arranged private meetings with the people on the list, using her status as a returned astronaut to gain access. In each meeting, she revealed the truth bit by bit, gauging reactions carefully. Some were skeptical at first, but the data Sarah shared from the alien disk was compelling. Designs for clean energy technology, medical breakthroughs, even the beginnings of faster-than-light travel theory. It was impossible to ignore. As more influential people became aware of the truth, Sarah coordinated with the Zarthak to plan the next steps. They decided to make a gradual reveal to the public, starting with hints and clues in scientific publications. But keeping such a massive secret wasn't easy. Sarah often felt the strain of her double life. By day, she was a celebrated astronaut, giving talks about her lunar mission. By night, she was the linchpin in humanity's greatest discovery, working tirelessly to prepare the world for first contact. One evening, as Sarah pored over plans for the public reveal, her communication device chimed. The holographic Zarthak appeared, looking more urgent than usual. "Sarah Chen, we have a situation," the translator voice said. "Our long-range sensors have detected an unknown object entering your solar system at high speed. It does not match any known natural phenomenon." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. "What are you saying?" The Zarthak's expression was grave. "We believe it may be a ship from a less friendly species, one that does not share our policy of non-interference." Sarah's mind raced. All their careful planning might be thrown into chaos. "How long do we have?" "At its current speed, it will reach Earth orbit in approximately 3 months," the voice replied. Sarah stood up, her fatigue forgotten. She knew what this meant. Their timeline had just been dramatically accelerated. "We need to move faster," she said, determination in her voice. "It's time to tell the world the whole truth. We need to be united and prepared when that ship arrives." The Zarthak nodded in agreement. "We will support you in any way we can, Sarah Chen. The future of Earth may depend on what happens in the next 3 months." As the hologram faded, Sarah took a deep breath. The real challenge was just beginning. It was time to introduce humanity to its cosmic neighbors, ready or not. The next 3 months were the most intense of Sarah's life. With the unknown alien ship approaching, there was no time for a gradual reveal. Sarah and her growing team of confidence decided to go public with everything. The announcement was made on a warm Tuesday evening. Every TV channel, radio station, and online platform carried the same broadcast. Sarah, flanked by world leaders and top scientists, faced the cameras. "People of Earth," she began, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I have an important truth to share. We are not alone in the universe." What followed was a carefully prepared presentation. Sarah explained her encounter with the Zarthak, showed evidence of their advanced technology, and revealed the approaching unknown ship. The world watched in stunned silence. The initial reaction was chaos. Some people panicked, others celebrated, and many simply couldn't believe it. But as the days passed and more evidence was presented, the reality began to sink in. Governments around the world scrambled to adapt. The United Nations held emergency sessions. Military forces went on high alert. Scientists worked around the clock, studying the alien data and preparing for possible contact or conflict. Through it all, Sarah worked tirelessly. She acted as a bridge between Earth's leaders and the Zarthak, coordinating plans and sharing information. The aliens provided more advanced technology to help Earth prepare, including improved satellite systems to track the approaching ship. As the unknown vessel entered the solar system, tension on Earth reached a fever pitch. Would they be friendly like the Zarthak or hostile? The entire planet held its breath. 2 weeks before the ship was due to reach Earth orbit, Sarah received an urgent message from the Zarthak. Their sensors had decoded transmissions from the approaching ship. It wasn't just one alien race. It was a coalition of species coming to assess Earth's readiness to join the galactic community. "It seems our revelation of ourselves to you has triggered a response from the wider Galactic Council," the Zarthak explained. "They are coming to judge whether humanity is truly ready for first contact." Sarah felt a mix of relief and new anxiety. At least it wasn't an invasion, but now Earth faced a test it hadn't prepared for. In the final days before the ship's arrival, Sarah worked with world leaders to present a united front. Old conflicts were set aside. For the first time in history, the entire human race was working together towards a common goal. On the day of arrival, Sarah stood in a specially built contact facility, surrounded by Earth's chosen representatives. The Zarthak were there too, visible to all for the first time. A bright light filled the sky as the alien ship entered orbit. It was massive, dwarfing anything humans had ever built. A smaller vessel detached and descended to the surface. As the craft landed, Sarah stepped forward. The door opened, revealing a diverse group of alien beings. Some looked almost human, others were wildly different. Their leader, a tall being with shimmering scales, approached Sarah. "Greetings, people of Earth," it said, its words translated by an advanced device. "We are the Galactic Council. We have come to evaluate your species' readiness to join the interstellar community." Sarah took a deep breath and replied, "On behalf of humanity, we welcome you. We may be new to the galactic stage, but we are eager to learn, to grow, and to contribute." The alien leader studied Sarah, then looked at the assembled humans and the Zarthak. "Your response to our arrival has been impressive. You've shown unity in the face of the unknown and a willingness to embrace new truths. These are good signs." Sarah felt a glimmer of hope. "Does this mean Earth passes your test?" The alien smiled. At least Sarah thought it was a smile. "There is no simple pass or fail, Sarah Chen. This is just the beginning. Your journey to join us will be long and challenging. But based on what we've seen, we believe humanity has the potential to become a valuable member of our galactic family." As cheers erupted around her, Sarah looked up at the sky. The stars seemed brighter somehow, full of new possibilities. Humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning.